Well, thanks, Mike, for joining today. We'll start with a quick intro of myself. My name is Jace. I'm an account executive here at Hyperbots. Been in the software as a service space selling to CFOs for about 6 years now, with a focus on financial and accounting automation. With me on this call today is CFO Mike Vaishnav, who has extensive experience with global diverse manufacturing, technology, services companies, as well as public accounting. Today's discussion will be a deeper dive into Hyperbots Procure-to-Pay tool, specifically on the Hyperbots Payment Co-pilot. So without further ado, we will kind of kick things off here, dive a little bit more into how Mike has used Hyperbots today and kind of the areas that it's helped him. So I guess first question for you, Mike. Manual payment runs are slow and error prone. What is the payment co-pilot's core promise that you guys have seen fulfilled today?
So is the Hyperbots batch flight with an AI engine will recommend, approve, and execute the reconciles the payment of the real time. The best thing about it is making the real time payment run can help a lot more efficiency, and you can gain the early payment discount and then free up the time as well as the amount spent for the fees and everything.
Sure. No, that's awesome to hear. And how does the co-pilot decide when to pay each invoice that you guys are receiving?
Oh, so this is a great question. Since all timing is on the AI algorithm, weights the discount value, cost of capital, and then vendor criticality, and then cash flow forecast. Then it takes like how when you want to pay the invoice, you want to pay now, you want to get the discount on the invoices, or you want to pay the due date, or sometimes if some back and forth going on with the vendor, you can hold that payment also and make a payment later on. All those algorithm timing, once you set up and it will decide, so you don't have to go manually set up and make sure that payment will be done very smoothly. Some of the computation, what I have seen it, they set up the default on pay on due date, or sometimes they set up on the discount date, but it's just very static versus a Hyperbot Copilot with the AI algorithm is very dynamic.
Sure. Allow you guys to customize a little bit more on when the payments are taking place. Obviously, help you guys increase maybe the cash back, the early payment discounts, that kind of thing.
It will be based on
Discounts
the
are great.
complete requirement of the customer, clients, whatever you call that. If they want to set up that way, Hyperbots are very flexible to set up the Copilot with the AI algorithm. So it's not one way you set up and you have to do a lot more programming work to reset again.
Sure. Very, very customizable. And speaking of discounts, obviously those are great in cash, especially when cash is tight. How does the model respect liquidity?
So it takes the input from the treasury or cash forecast or however you feed that one. And based on the bank position, it will take the input on a like real time or daily basis type of thing. If the short term cash is tight, it will decide whether to take the discount and borrow the money. It will be based on the complete cost of capital, that what's the cost of capital to borrow the money and what the company will cost versus how much the discount will gain. And based on that, they will make a decision whether you want to take the discount and borrow the money, or if you don't have a cash, you can hold off the payment right now, or whatever company will decide based on that. But this is all those guidance will be provide the information. AI tool will provide the information. Like some of the legacy AI tool will ignore the cost of capital. They say, oh, we don't have a cash, just forget it. We don't want to take a discount right now. So this is very dynamic tool, as I said before.
Yep. Give you a couple different options just depending on works best for your business. That's awesome. Walk me through the actual approval workflow process you guys are seeing today.
So it's like you can customize your workflow process. Like you can do based on the amount, what level of approval you want based on the amount, based on the vendor, based on the category based rule to push the approval on your Slack or team or any other tool what you decide. Executive approves with one tap, like sometimes the amount across the whatever the threshold would be there. Sometimes you can use the Face ID on their phone to log into that versus logging into the system or using the ERP system to log in to approve it. So this is very dynamic. You can do on your mobile devices, and it can be set up and structured the way you want to be.
Sure.
Without compromising any audit trail.
Awesome. Can do it really wherever you are, whatever the most convenient method is. And multiple payment rails add headaches, which we all know. Which rails are built into your Hyperbot solution today?
So it's like multiple rails have been set up, like ACH, same day ACH, checks, wire transfer, virtual cards, and SEPA for the European payment. Once the payment, one payment can done mix of the rail automatically. So you don't have to say that, oh, this payment is only for the ACH or this payment is only for the wires. It can be done and it can be configured by multiple with a multiple payment for the one vendor.
Sure. And does it generate the bank files or call APIs?
Yes, it will generate the bank file and APIs. Yep.
Okay.
And
Awesome.
it will also generate the otherwise the co-pilot also build like file called the NACHA or ISO 2000 20022 or P2P file, which we can decide when to make a payment and how the keep track of the payment. And like no manual requirement versus some of the system you require the manual file to upload to the bank systems.
Sure. Very common that we see that today. And payment fraud is on everyone's mind, obviously a very big thing. What I guess defenses are baked into the Hyperbot solution?
So this tool has been developed in a very nicer way, so you can detect the fraud easily, like some of the duplicate fingerprints sometimes on the AI, or repeat amount, or repeat vendor, or sometimes if you change the bank account, or it compares the bank account with the new ACH detail and making sure whether it's been correctly or any fraudulent information would be there, or some of the historical payment terms or other checks, how the bank wants to how you want to configure and making sure it will give you a red flag immediately versus waiting for bank to call you that, hey, something going on wrong. Versus some of the competitions right now still not get into this advanced level of the monitoring the fraud. Right now, they mainly rely on the positive pay, which you send a file to the bank. If anything kicked out, bank will send you back, which will take more time versus here, you can get it instantly real time basis.
Right. The system pulls that for you automatically. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And how does the actual reconciliation process work for you today?
So the co-pilot listens to the bank acknowledgement or CMT 053 statements, which matches with the bank, which matches with the amount and pays, and clears the voucher and posts the cash book entry. So this process can be done kind of, I would say, real time or virtual basis, or you can close the books immediately on the daily cash versus waiting sometimes you have to finish the bank reconciliation manually or some of the bank reconciliation tool which may take like a couple of days to reconcile the bank when you get the file from the bank.
Sure. Just speeds that process up to real time
Absolutely.
versus maybe 3 days, whatever it looks like for some cases.
Yeah.
And we run payments from SAP and NetSuite. Does one of the co-pilots cover both of those?
Yes, it covers the both. The engine reads and opens the vouchers from the ERP and applies the same pay date policy, then post the clearing the entire back to back in the right to the ledger. Like some of the payment you require, some of the system you have to require the payment hub require the separate stack per ERP versus these systems can do it like immediately when however you configure the system. But it can apply not only to SAP or NetSuite, but similar can be configured to some of the other systems also.
Sure. And how does the single sign-on work for multi-ERP finance teams?
So it's like one Azure like AD login that which you log into one account, and then Copilot route is to users token to the SAP or NetSuite invisibility. So you don't have invisibly, so you don't have to worry about logging into two different systems, and you don't have to juggle with remembering the multiple password or multiple login for that.
Sure. And right now, it isn't uncommon for companies to have, multiple different systems, multiple different logins. So it's nice to really simplify that area of the business and just remove that burden from the employees as well. Can business units keep different approval rules?
Oh, absolutely. You can have a multiple business rule for same unit. Like you can have a two-level approval level, or business one business unit can have a different approval rule. Different business unit can have a different approval rule. The the rules based on their entity and not like one size fits for all. You can configure how you want to set up. And as I said in my previous question, it depends on the like what's the level of the approval. Like if you want to have like a higher amount, then you can have multiple approval. You have a smaller amount, or if it's budgeted, then you can approve it immediately. So it can be configured based on the company's requirement and company's policy.
Sure. Just based on what's best fit for that specific entity.
Absolutely.
Something that we also hear vendors constantly ask, where's my money? They want to get paid, and it's completely understandable. How is the visibility improved with Hyperbots?
So there is a vendor portal which shows the invoice, PO, and payment status in real time. The moment you make the payment or you make the voucher, they will show immediately. So vendor will get the access of this payment vendor portal, and they can view that versus calling the AP person, and AP person may not be available. Then it's create additional frustration on the vendor also. Versus this tool is real time on the vendor tool, they can log in and check it.
Sure. No, that's great. What about the partial or split payments for retention or disputes?
Yeah, so the co-pilot can support the partial pay also. It tracks the residual amount what's not been paid and either schedule to the next tranche automatically, or you can have it like, okay, I want to hold up this payment because there's some dispute going on with the vendor or a short quantity or whatever. So you can configure when to make a payment. So it's a partial payment, will keep track of the payment automatically, and you don't have to create the spreadsheet or keep track of somewhere that it's been paid later or it's been partially paid.
Awesome. And how about multi-currency headaches? That's something, you hear a lot with companies that are spread out across the globe. What have you ran into?
So multi-currency problem is always been like when you have like, you don't have a sophisticated ERP system with, if you have some good sophisticated ERP system, you can have multi-currency, you can input over there. But with this Hyperbots solution, the FX table from the ERP system feed into the pay date decision, posting and revaluation. So you don't have to go and revaluation or posting separately or making sure that currency has been revaluation has been done. The cut month and cutoff date on the JE time will go in half because it will be automatically revaluate and then make a vendor payment and making sure that our revaluation and month and close is correct.
Sure. And to cut that prep time in half, that's obviously a huge value add for the company, and not only the company, but the employees as well. How are the exceptions surfaced?
So any exceptions would be there. They will be like any cutoff, any exception would fall out. It will be immediately tagged and informed to the whosoever users would be, and then it would be informed by the whatever the tool they are using. It either with the mobile devices or Teams or whatever real-time alerts. Versus instead of waiting for the email and coming next day that this is exception came out. So this is everything. In short, it's a real time.
Yep. You don't have to wait around for maybe the specific bank vendor to get back to. Makes sense. On the audit trail side of things, what evidence can we hand to external auditors?
Yeah, so this is a great tool because auditors always like in nowadays, like auditors will be AI since being a new tool, they will be hesitant to whether a tool is working okay or not. So as far as this specific topic we are discussing, every recommendation, approval, file hash, bank responses, and reconciliation is entries hash chain. So auditors can receive the entire quarter's payment life cycle and what are the approval level, how it's been approved, what are the process flow and approval flow. They will get it instantly and then will be like pretty fast, and they will have they know that whether the process flow is working correctly, and there are no audit issues on that.
Sure. And just that payment life cycle, to be able to shorten that up, obviously, is very helpful as well. We occasionally need manual ad hoc wire payments. Is that possible?
Absolutely, it's possible because AI can draft the ad hoc payment in the UI, and the same approval and fraud checks would be applied on same. So you can just create this is a one-time payment. You can just inform you can input to the AI, and it will be like executed and reconciled automatically.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's good to know. How quickly did the early pay algorithm start delivering value for you guys?
Very immediately in the first month, I would say, of the installation, that with some of the discount is not been previously forfeited, it will become automatically, and not automatically, instantly or very fast. And there is no parameter tuning to be needed. The model would be pre-trained, and then on the millions of suppliers term. So it's not only term to the one or two supplier like net 30 or 210 type of thing, but it can configure based on the suppliers.
Sure. And how does Hyperbots handle on-premise ERP payment posting?
So it's like it calls on the native AI and open up the outbound tunnel and no inbound firewall changes. So completely in that way, it will be like handle the off payment posting instantly with this AI channel, and nothing. You don't have to API and you through the native API. Like competitors require some of the file to on the CSV and upload to the on-prem system, but it can be done like off-prem system also.
Sure. And last question for you today, Mike. Hyperbots Payment Co-pilot versus typical AP automation. What does that look like for you guys?
So to summarize that Hyperbots Copilot is like automated with a good audit trail. It executes, reconciles, decides, and audits when to make a payment, and creates a lot more operational efficiency as well as the financial efficiency on getting the discount, get the process done faster versus and then there is a in that way you can avoid the late fee from the vendors and can get a smooth and better vendor relationship and making the company's cash flow optimization of the cash flow also. Legacy tool may leave most of those values on the table, and then there may be some. I'm not saying the Hyperverse is the only tool available, but there are a lot more operational efficiency and financial efficiencies in bit with the Hyperbots tool, which can create a lot more efficiency for the company, and then can have create all this process a lot faster and efficient.
Awesome. Well, that is the last question I had for you, Mike. Thanks again for joining us in this discussion, and we'll look forward to meeting you here again soon.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you.